Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of SEO B.S, SEO Baloney, and SEO Bullshit! But anyway, in this episode we're going to talk about, should you hire a digital marketing agency, a digital marketing company, digital media, SEO agencies, no matter what you call it, should you hire a marketing company to do your digital media for you, your marketing services for you, and or your SEO services for you? You know, that's a great question. It's a great question nowadays, especially it's crazy popular. So, should you do it? Now, I have my own opinion. Now, I am in SEO and I've been marketing for the last 15 years, digital media and so forth. So, I might have a little bit of bias opinion here if I would do it. But I want to give you some information, some insights, so that way you can make a non-biased decision for yourself. You can make the best decision for yourself and see if it's worth the money or not. But anyway, my name's Chad Napier. I'm drinking a smoothie here. This is a chocolate collagen smoothie. I put some spirulina in there. I'm a health nut. But anyway, that's what I'm going to be sipping on as we talk. We'll take another sip before we get going here. Now, would I hire a marketing agency? Myself? Hell no. No, I would not. I would tell my friends. My friends come to me and says, Chad, what's the best marketing agency? Should I hire a marketing agency? I always tell them no, do it yourself, learn it yourself, and or hire in-house. Okay, this is why I tell them. You know, if you have the money to hire a marketing agency and you're paying pretty decent for a marketing agency, meaning that you're not paying them $250 a month or $500 a month, but if you're spending, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 a month for an agency, well, you could at least hire someone part-time in-house. That way you have a little bit more control what they're doing and so forth and so forth. When you hire a marketing agency, you really don't have any control if they're doing your work or not, because there's too many ways to fool you. So that's my main answer to you. Would I hire a marketing agency myself, being inside the industry myself? Would I do it? No. Have I done it in the past? Yes. So I've learned the hard way, just like you. Even years ago, I would hire agencies, marketing agencies, different SEO people, 1099, used Fiverr and Upworks and stuff like that. Most of the time, it's all crap services. So, you want some BS. So I'm telling you the truth here. It might just be my experience, but that's what it is, my friends. Now, why do I think this way? Now, when working with digital media marketing companies, doing their SEO, because most of the time that's what I do, is do their SEO, clients SEO, and marketing companies SEO and stuff like that. One of the things you have to think about here is a marketing agency, a marketing company, it's a business just like yours. So their product is clientele. Okay, the way they make more money is by increasing clients. Okay, so they're not, they don't have a product that they're just selling. Okay, their product is clientele. Then on top of that, what you have to understand is they're trying to scale their services just like you. So let me put this down. So I got my two hands available. But anyway, they're trying to scale their services. Okay, the way they make more money is by having more clientele. So when you start bringing on more and more clients and they're scaling it, the only option for a marketing agency, a marketing company, is to cut corners, do things quick, or not to do them, or kind of pretend they're doing them. And that's just basically what it is, especially with SEO. I mean, SEO, they fool you across the board with most of these agencies. Most of the time they don't do it because it's very time consuming. So those are the two things you have to look at, is that the way they make money is by having more clientele and they're scaling their services. So let me give you an example real quick. Sometimes when I interview with a marketing agency or a digital media agency, one of the questions I ask is, well, how many clients do you guys have? How many clients do you guys manage on a month? Or at least what's the average clientele do you guys have? Lots of times they'll say, we have 80 clients. So think about it. Just think about it realistically for a second. If a company has 80 clients a month, Okay. And their employees that work for the agency, they're usually very lean. They don't have very many employees. So you can't really argue that, well, they have 80 clients, but they have 100 employees. No, that's not like, I mean, most teams are just very, very small. You might be dealing with 4 or 5 employees trying to handle 80 clients, 100 clients. So you can kind of see what the issue is like, the only way to get things done is cut corners or not do them. Now, when I worked in agencies, most of the time what they would do is do like, SEO reports or meet with you weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever you guys agree to. And that was more or less of a sales tactic to make sure you're paying every single month. They would put more time into their presentations for you or a meeting for you than they would actually doing the services that they should be doing. Another thing they kind of do is in their packages that they sell you, like for example, within an SEO package, lots of times within an SEO package, they'll have a whole bunch of multiple things in there. They'll have, SEO audits, they'll have email campaigns, they'll have paid ads in there, Facebook, Google ads, they'll have competitor research in there. They'll have all types of stuff in there that within your package that there's no way they can kind of get done. What they end up doing is they will do your email campaigns or your social media management, whatever. I mean, sometimes it's corny services. They're managing 2 posts a month, 3 posts a month. They will do those things because you can directly see them. You can directly say, hey, you need to do none of my email campaigns. Okay. What's hard is they start mixing it into SEO services or digital marketing services, certain services that you can't tell if they've done it or not. And this is really SEO, because unless you're experienced in SEO, you're not going to know if it's got done or not, or you're not going to know what proper questions to ask to make sure they're doing it. Okay, so there's too many ways to fool you. Another thing what I would suggest if you do hire a marketing agency is you have to micromanage them. You can't just like let them go and they're working for you. Or you're a small business or a small company, or maybe you're a photographer and you're just starting out, and it sounds good to sit there and say, I hired a marketing agency. It sounds good, good to say that you have a team or someone's working for you, but the person getting paid most of the time is you. So whatever you're paying them, most of the time they're not doing it. Another thing I start finding inside marketing agencies is that even with myself, I'm talking about personal experience, either hiring or me working with them directly, is, I see the marketing team. Okay, so usually, sometimes, most of the time, not all the time, they'll have someone like me, okay, that has an in-depth experience. They've been doing it for a long time, 15, 20 years. But usually someone like me, I'll be the director or the VP or the COO, something like that. So, you're not dealing with me. I might not be the one working on your stuff. Now, granted, they could have me in an interview with you or a client presentation with you to help kind of sell the package, because I'll know more off the top of my head. If you ask me questions and stuff like that, I'll know more than someone that has less experience. But I'm not the one actually working on your stuff. Bottom line. So most of the time in marketing, and this is like really big in marketing agencies or even marketing departments and companies, that your marketing, the marketing department is lots of times made up of interns. So you'll have half interns on your team. Then your other half might only be a couple people, and they might only have 1 or 2 years of experience, because lots of times in marketing agencies, lots of times they don't pay very well. So lots of times the salary is going to reflect, the skill level that you can hire. So, if they're looking for someone like me, well, I'm not going to take the job if the salary isn't there. Okay. And when they're only looking for someone with 1 or 2 years of experience, that's usually someone directly out of school or directly out of college. And lots of times they're just hire people, right out of high school, working in the marketing department or working as an intern. So most of the time, that's who's working on your stuff. Okay. Now this leads me into another point I really want to make here, because I can only assume that you're a business owner. You're an entrepreneur just like me. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a business person myself. I do work as an employee as well. So I'm all three. I'm basically all three. But another thing, what you have to think about is when you're a business and you have a business, the question to you would be, why in the world would you take advice from a marketing agency that gives your company to an intern? Why would you take advice from an intern? Of course, you don't know it's an intern. Of course, they're going to sell you on, well, Tony the intern is an expert in what he does. But Tony the intern is 20 years old. Well, how can you be an expert when you're 20 years old? You can't. So not picking on 20-year-olds, but you get my drift, you get my point. So, who are you taking your advice from? See, this is one of the reasons why you can't progress, because you're not protecting where you get your advice from. You're going to other people, or you're going to employees or employee mindset, and you're asking them for advice. But they've never been an entrepreneur. They've never owned a business. They've never built a department. They've never built an account. They've never done mergers and acquisitions. They've never built anything in their life. But yet you take advice from them. You know what I'm saying? You have to be careful with who you take advice from. And when you go to these marketing agencies, I can just tell you from experience. You don't have to believe me, but I can tell you from experience, most of the time they're filled with interns and people with only 1 or 2 years of experience that haven't built anything. So why would you take advice? Why would you take advice from a marketing company, marketing agency? Okay, you start asking them questions. What have you done? What have you built? Most of the time they're making up, but at least you're asking a question. Woo! Now I said a mouthful there that around, marketing agencies, why my opinion, I wouldn't hire one. Now this is what I would do. Okay, and this is, I said in the beginning that if you're paying good money, for one, anything under $1,000, 100% they're scamming you. 100% they're not doing it. You have to just use simple common sense. Now, I hate to be rude, hate to be rough and gruff, but this is SEO B.S. This is giving you real advice, real opinions, and stuff like that. That way you can make the best decision for you and your company. Bottom line. Woo! But anyway, this is what I would do. For one, when you think about hiring a marketing agency, how much are they charging you? Okay, if they're again, what I said was, if they're charging you below $1,000, they're wasting your time. Companies that charge, we'll do this for $250, we'll do your SEO for $350, we'll do your SEO for $500 a month. I mean, what are they really doing? When you really know digital marketing and SEO, it's a full-time job. You could hire someone full-time to do your digital marketing and SEO 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. So think about it that way. What are they doing? Okay, you pay them $500 a month. What are they doing with $500 a month? What's really going on? They really want to make $500 a month with only giving you 1 hour of time. That's really what's going on. Okay, so now we're getting into agencies that really kind of focus on small business, and they might charge a little bit more. They might charge anywhere from $1,200 to $2,000. Okay, that's kind of like right now in LA, that's kind of what you pay. Now, that's not the most expensive, but those are usually agencies that kind of focus on small business. Now, $2,000 is a nice chunk of change. You can do a lot of things with $2,000. Okay, and for $2,000 for them not to get you results and not do your work, oh my goodness. So this is what I'm telling you. If you're paying anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 and they're cutting corners 100%, take that money and stick it someplace else. Don't go with an agency. Look for someone in-house. If you have $2,000 to pay somebody, that $2,000 you could at least hire someone part-time. Okay, at least part-time, 20 hours a week or something like that. You're going to get more done there than giving it to an agency, rather than letting the agency pitch you a sales pitch that we have experts. Rawr! We have experts. We hire experts, but yet it's full of interns and people with 1 or 2 years of experience. Trust me, Okay. So take that money and stick it someplace else. Take that money, hire someone part-time if you can't afford to hire someone full-time. You're going to get way better results for hiring someone part-time. You know what they're doing because you can see them and you monitor. You know, you have way more control, and you're going to get way better results than hiring a marketing agency that kind of plays with the time and plays with stuff. Okay, I'll give you one more example before I let you go here. This is how agencies do it, okay, within the fine print. I'll give you a simple example. One agency I worked with, one of their SEO packages was $1,500 a month. Okay, so $1,500 a month. Okay, what do they really charge? Okay, it's not just that, okay, I'm paying them $1,500 a month, or you're paying them $1,500 a month, and you think like they're working on your stuff 40 hours a week. No. You think they're working on your stuff 20 hours a week. No. You think they're working on your stuff 10 hours a week. No. That's not how it works. We want to think that way, but that's not what they're doing. That's not how they scale their services and scale their own business and become a profitable business. Okay, that's not how it works. So this is how it works. And this is one question I would ask is, what do you really charge? Okay, but the agencies work like an attorney. Okay, if you pay an attorney $1,500, what do they charge per hour? This might be in the fine print, might be in the contract. Maybe they tell you, but it's usually in the contract somewhere. What do they charge per hour? Okay, one of the agencies I worked for, they charged $150 per hour. So divide that by 150 by $1,500, that's 10. That's 10 hours. So they're only going to give you, at best case scenario, 10 hours of their time per month. That's not 10 hours a week, 10 hours bi-weekly, that's 10 hours a month. Now, even if they give you 10 hours a month, lots of times they don't even work 10 hours a month on your stuff. Okay, they're still cutting corners. Then you have to think about it this way. They're charging you like an attorney. So anytime you send emails, they communicate with emails. Anytime they do presentations for you and do monthly presentations and bi-weekly presentations and weekly presentations with you, they're charging you for that. That's getting deducted from that 10 hours. So if they spend 5 hours on doing presentations for you, they're really only spending around 5 hours per month on your digital marketing or SEO needs. So that's another reason why, for me, I wouldn't hire an agency. I would hire in-house or hire part-time in-house, because that way I know what's going on. Just because I know they're going to spend so much time trying to do reports with me and presentations and try to sell me to keep on paying every single month. And they spend a lot of time on these reports. I'm not a report guy. That's one of my weaknesses. I'm not a report guy. I hate doing reports because I think it's a waste of your time. It's a waste of business time. Okay, but they do it because it's a sales tactic. That's a sales. You're a sales guy, or a saleswoman. That's how they sell you to keep on paying them every single month. Okay. Now, if you do have an agency, and you do have an agency right now, one thing I can tell you, you have to micromanage them. Bottom line, period. You have to micromanage them. If you don't micromanage them, you're not going to get a result. Now, a couple things happen if you micromanage an agency. For one, it's going to drive you crazy. You know what I mean? If you have to micromanage, and you kind of have to call and make sure they do stuff and keep on top of them every day, every other day to make sure things get done, it's going to drive you crazy, because besides me working on my own stuff, I'm worried about if they're getting things done. So it distracts me from my game when I'm trying to get things done. Because the whole point of delegating or delegation is to get twice as much stuff done or 3 times the stuff done than you could do by yourself. That's the whole point. Another thing that kind of comes with that is as you're micromanaging, it's driving yourself crazy. So either you're going to give up, you're going to fire them because it's just wasting too much of your time, because it distracts you from your game, or they're going to fire you and they're going to get rid of you as a client because you're wasting their time. Okay, you might sit there and say, well, Chad, how can I waste their time? Because remember, they're trying to scale their company as well. They're trying to work with as many clients as they can. So, an example would be like if they're giving you 10 hours a month, or 15 hours a month, but you're micromanaging them and you're making sure they're giving you 15 hours, or you might even be squeezing a few more hours a month out of them because you're just super on top of them. How they're going to think is, well, we're giving this one client 15 hours, but I could manage 4 other clients in 15 hours than we're doing her over here. So I can make 4 times as much money. So they're going to make a business decision and say, well, let's get rid of this person over here, but she's a pain in my ass. So then they're going to go over here and get 4 more clients for the same amount of time they're helping you. So they're going to make a business decision at that point. So that's what occurs too. So when you start micromanaging, in my opinion, 2 things are going to happen. 2 scenarios are you're going to get tired of it or they're going to get tired of you. Bottom line. But other than that, my friends, that's it. Those are my thoughts. Hopefully that helps you out. If you have any questions, comment below, and I try to answer everything. Even if you send a corny answer, I'll give you a corny answer right back. But anyway, I'll see you in the next episode of SEO BS.